Creatinine levels in the body act as a silent indicator of how well the kidneys are functioning. And when these levels begin to rise, it's often a warning sign that something deeper is happening within. The kidneys are remarkable organs. Each one is made up of nearly 1 million tiny filters called nephrons, and together they filter about 200 quarts of blood daily. Every second, they work tirelessly to remove waste products, regulate electrolytes, and balance fluids in the body. Yet, when creatinine levels rise, it means these filters are struggling to keep up. This buildup doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, creeping process that begins when the kidneys are overburdened, often by the very foods we consume daily. Among these, protein plays a central role. While protein is vital for repairing tissues, building enzymes, and maintaining muscles, not all proteins behave the same way once they enter the bloodstream. Some nourish, while others stress the kidneys beyond their capacity, producing waste and inflammation that the body cannot easily eliminate. Most people associate high creatinine with dehydration or medication side effects, but dietary protein can be one of the biggest hidden triggers. When protein breaks down in the body, it produces nitrogenous waste, which must be excreted through the kidneys. If protein intake is excessive or comes from harmful sources, this waste accumulates, raising creatinine and urea levels. The problem becomes worse. When the protein is processed or chemically treated, processed meats, for instance, are among the most damaging sources. Items like bacon, sausages, salami, and hot dogs are not simply sources of protein. They're carriers of nitrates, phosphates, and sodium. These compounds, used to preserve color, enhance flavor, and extend shelf life, create a toxic burden on the kidneys. They cause oxidative stress, a condition in which harmful free radicals damage the delicate endothelial cells lining the kidneys' filtration units. Over time, this constant oxidative pressure leads to scarring of the nephrons, reducing their ability to filter blood efficiently. The more damaged nephrons become, the more creatinine accumulates in circulation. One of the lesser-known issues with processed meats is their high phosphate content. Phosphates are often added as preservatives, but when consumed in excess, they disrupt calcium and mineral balance in the body. This imbalance leads to vascular calcification, which not only affects the heart, but also restricts blood flow in the kidneys. Reduced circulation means less oxygen reaches the filtering tissues, and this creates a cycle of hypoxia and inflammation. In scientific studies, people who consume processed meat several times per week are found to have higher creatinine and blood urea nitrogen levels, even if their overall protein intake is not excessive. What makes this particularly dangerous is that the early signs are invisible. There's no pain, no clear symptom, just a gradual decline in the kidney's filtration rate, which often goes unnoticed until more than half the kidney function is lost. Another major source of harmful protein comes from red meat, particularly beef and lamb. While red meat is rich in iron, zinc, and amino acids, it also contains high levels of creatine and purines. When digested, these substances are metabolized into creatinine and uric acid, both of which require kidney filtration in moderation. The kidneys can handle this load, but when red meat is eaten frequently, the amount of waste surpasses what the kidneys can process efficiently. This leads to a chronic increase in creatinine levels. Moreover, red meat generates a higher acid load in the body compared to plant-based proteins. The body tries to neutralize this acid by drawing on bicarbonate reserves, but over time, the constant acid stress wears down the kidney's ability to maintain pH balance. Acidic conditions inside kidney tissue promote inflammation and fibrosis, gradually reducing filtration efficiency. The way red meat is cooked also plays a major role. High-temperature cooking methods like grilling, barbecuing, or frying produce advance glycation end products. Ages, harmful compounds formed when sugars bind to proteins or fats. These ages induce inflammation, stiffen blood vessels, and impair circulation within the kidneys. They also increase oxidative stress, accelerating nephron loss. In individuals already prone to elevated creatinine or mild kidney dysfunction, this added oxidative burden can tip the balance toward progressive kidney injury. Each meal may seem harmless, but over time, the cumulative effect becomes significant. Even lean cuts of beef, often perceived as healthier, contain saturated fats that raise cholesterol and promote inflammation, both of which indirectly harm kidney tissue. A third source of problematic protein comes from excessive consumption of protein isolates and powders, particularly whey protein. These are popular among fitness enthusiasts aiming to build muscle, but the kidneys often pay the price for this rapid protein intake. The human body has a limit to how much protein it can use for repair and growth at one time. The rest becomes nitrogenous waste, which must be filtered out. When the kidneys are forced to handle large amounts of this waste, blood urea nitrogen bund levels rise alongside creatinine. Whey protein isolates are particularly taxing because they're concentrated and absorbed quickly, producing a sharp spike in amino acids that overwhelms the metabolic system. Over time, this continuous overload can cause the kidneys to work harder than they were designed to, especially in individuals with pre-existing mild renal insufficiency or dehydration. Another factor often overlooked is the imbalance between protein intake and hydration. High protein consumption without sufficient water intake makes it harder for the kidneys to flush out metabolic byproducts. This thickens the blood, slows filtration, and promotes creatinine retention. Many people who rely heavily on protein shakes or high-protein diets forget that for every gram of protein metabolized, the kidneys require adequate water to eliminate waste efficiently. When hydration is inadequate, kidney filtration slows down, creatinine builds up, and the strain increases. The fourth major source of kidney-damaging protein comes from fast food and fried animal proteins. Foods like fried chicken, burgers, and breaded meats deliver more than just protein. They come loaded with hydrogenated fats, refined carbs, and an enormous amount of sodium. These elements form a destructive combination for kidney health. Sodium causes fluid retention and raises blood pressure, directly impairing the delicate glomerular capillaries that perform filtration. The trans fats used in deep frying induce inflammation in blood vessels, reducing kidney perfusion and oxygenation. Meanwhile, the protein component adds a nitrogen load, creating a metabolic double stress. This is why frequent consumption of fried and processed meats correlates strongly with higher creatinine and urea levels, even in people who appear otherwise healthy. What's particularly concerning is how these damaging proteins interact with other common lifestyle factors. Many people who consume large quantities of processed or fried proteins also have diets low in antioxidants and fiber, which further exacerbates inflammation and slows waste elimination. Over time, this combination leads to the gradual buildup of toxins, which the kidneys struggle to remove. Microscopic damage accumulates, and small patches of scar tissue begin to form in kidney tissue. This scarring is irreversible and silently reduces filtration rate. Even mild elevations in creatinine reflect that a significant number of nephrons are no longer functioning optimally. While the kidneys are resilient and capable of compensating for minor injury, they can only handle so much. Continuous exposure to the damaging effects of poor protein choices depletes their reserves. High sodium, phosphates, and inflammatory compounds turn the internal environment toxic. The arteries that feed the kidneys narrow, reducing nutrient delivery, while the tissues within become fibrotic and less efficient at filtration. In the early stages, blood tests might only show a slight increase in creatinine, but behind those numbers lies a complex story of oxidative stress, acid overload, and cellular injury. If these dietary habits continue, creatinine levels rise steadily, the glomerular filtration rate declines, and chronic kidney disease becomes a real possibility. Understanding the connection between protein sources and kidney health reveals that the issue is not about avoiding protein altogether, but about recognizing the difference between clean, natural proteins and those that come loaded with harmful additives or metabolic waste. The kidneys do not differentiate between proteins. They simply respond to the waste produced after digestion. When that waste is excessive or chemically complex, the kidneys must work harder, faster, and longer. Eventually, this constant strain diminishes their ability to keep the blood pure. Elevated creatinine is merely a symptom of that hidden battle occurring inside the body every day, shaped largely by the protein choices made at every meal. Not all proteins burden the kidneys, and this distinction is where hope begins. The same biological systems that can be strained by toxic proteins can also be strengthened and restored by protective ones. The body's filtration units, the nephrons, have an extraordinary capacity for resilience when given the right nourishment. While harmful proteins from processed and fried foods generate excess waste and inflammation, there are natural proteins that supply amino acids in a gentler, more balanced form. These proteins nourish without overwhelming the kidneys, support detoxification, and provide essential nutrients that enhance filtration efficiency. When incorporated into a daily diet, they help lower creatinine levels naturally by reducing nitrogenous waste and oxidative damage. Lentils and other plant-based proteins stand at the forefront of kidney-safe nutrition. They are not just rich in protein, but also in fiber, antioxidants, and minerals that reduce the metabolic load on the kidneys. Unlike animal proteins, Plant proteins produce less urea and creatinine during digestion. This means the kidneys have fewer waste molecules to filter out, allowing them to function more efficiently. Lentils, chickpeas, mung beans, and black beans contain amino acids in moderate concentrations that the body absorbs slowly and uses effectively, minimizing excess. The fiber in lentils also plays a key role by binding to toxins in the intestines and helping to remove them through the digestive tract, rather than forcing the kidneys to eliminate them. This dual action, lower waste production and better toxin removal, significantly eases the filtration burden. Lentils are also rich in antioxidants like polyphenols, which counteract oxidative stress in kidney tissue. Free radicals generated by poor diets or metabolic waste attack the nephron's delicate cell membranes, causing microscopic injuries. Polyphenols neutralize these radicals, protecting the kidneys at a cellular level. Studies have shown that replacing red meat with lentil-based proteins can lower serum creatinine and improve glomerular filtration rates over time. Another major benefit of lentils is their ability to stabilize blood sugar and blood pressure, two critical factors that influence kidney health. Stable blood sugar reduces glycation, which is a process that forms compounds damaging to kidney vessels. Controlled blood pressure prevents excess force from damaging the glomerular capillaries, ensuring filtration remains steady and unstrained. The magnesium and potassium in lentils help maintain this vascular balance, ensuring that the tiny arteries supplying the kidneys remain open and healthy. Another kidney-friendly source of protein is fish, particularly fatty varieties like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. Fish protein is unique because it is more bioavailable and easily digested compared to red or processed meats. This means the body uses it efficiently, producing less waste that needs to be filtered. But the true power of fish lies in its omega-3 fatty acid content. Omega-3s are potent anti-inflammatory agents that help reduce swelling and stiffness in the kidney's blood vessels. Chronic inflammation is one of the silent drivers of elevated creatinine and kidney disease progression. When the blood vessels inside the kidneys become inflamed, filtration slows and waste accumulates. Omega-3s from fish help to counteract this process, improving circulation and restoring the kidney's ability to cleanse the blood effectively. Moreover, omega-3 fatty acids enhance endothelial function, the smooth lining inside the blood vessels that governs flow and nutrient exchange. A healthy endothelium allows for optimal perfusion of kidney tissue, ensuring every nephron receives the oxygen and nutrients it needs to function efficiently. This also helps control blood pressure, another factor that determines how much stress the kidneys endure. Fish protein has the added advantage of containing taurine and arginine, amino acids that support detoxification pathways and reduce ammonia buildup, further lowering the workload on the kidneys. In addition, fish provides essential micronutrients such as selenium and vitamin D, both of which are crucial for reducing inflammation and protecting renal tissue from oxidative injury. Egg whites represent another cornerstone of kidney-friendly protein nutrition. They are often described as a complete protein because they contain all 9 essential amino acids in the right proportions for human needs. Yet, unlike meats or whole eggs, egg whites have no cholesterol, low phosphorus, and virtually no fat. This makes them an excellent choice for individuals who need high-quality protein without generating metabolic stress. The body absorbs egg white protein easily, converting it into muscle and enzyme structures with minimal leftover waste because egg whites are low in phosphorus. They prevent mineral overload, which is particularly beneficial for those who have already developed early kidney strain. Excess phosphorus is known to accelerate kidney deterioration by forming deposits that harden the tissues and constrict filtration channels. But egg whites provide nourishment without this risk. Egg white protein also plays a role in tissue repair. When kidneys are inflamed or slightly damaged, the body needs amino acids to rebuild cell membranes and repair the glomeruli, the small filtering units that trap waste and retain vital nutrients. Egg whites provide this restorative support in a form that does not overburden the kidneys. They also help maintain lean muscle mass, which is important because loss of muscle can increase creatinine production even further by preserving muscle while reducing dietary waste. Egg whites help maintain a healthy balance between protein utilization and kidney filtration. Plant-based proteins like tofu, tempeh, and peas share similar benefits. They contain isoflavones, plant compounds that act as natural antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents. These proteins not only provide amino acids, but also deliver nutrients that improve insulin sensitivity, vascular health, and metabolic efficiency, all of which support kidney recovery. For instance, tofu provides calcium and magnesium in forms that are easily absorbed without creating excess acid, while tempeh offers beneficial probiotics that support gut health. A healthy gut microbiome helps reduce the production of uremic toxins that would otherwise enter the bloodstream and strain the kidneys. When gut bacteria metabolize fiber and prebiotics from plant-based foods, they produce short-chain fatty acids that improve the body's overall detoxification system, taking pressure off the kidneys. The beauty of these safe proteins is how they work synergistically with the body. Lentils regulate waste formation, fish proteins reduce inflammation, and egg whites supply pure nourishment without toxins. Together, they create a dietary pattern that encourages the kidneys to heal rather than fight constant damage. This balance not only controls creatinine, but also enhances overall energy levels and metabolic health. When the kidneys aren't overloaded, blood pressure stabilizes, electrolytes remain balanced, and hydration improves. Every cell in the body benefits because cleaner blood means more efficient nutrient delivery and less toxin accumulation. The transition from harmful to helpful proteins requires mindfulness. It's not about cutting protein altogether, but about rebalancing intake towards sources that nurture instead of harm. Replacing a few servings of red or processed meat with lentils or fish can drastically lower the burden of metabolic waste. Adding egg whites to breakfast instead of fried meats helps provide strength without strain. Small daily shifts accumulate into large benefits for kidney function. Over time, it's also essential to combine these proteins with sufficient hydration, as water acts as the medium through which the kidneys flush out toxins. Without enough water, even safe proteins can produce waste that becomes difficult to eliminate. Herbs and spices like turmeric, ginger, and parsley can complement these safe proteins by reducing inflammation and supporting detoxification. Turmeric's curcumin helps calm the immune response that often worsens kidney inflammation, while ginger aids circulation and prevents blood sugar spikes that can harm the kidneys. Parsley acts as a natural diuretic, helping flush out retained water and excess creatinine. When combined with kidney-friendly proteins, these natural supports enhance the overall healing process. The body has an extraordinary ability to repair itself when provided with the right tools. Lentils, fish, and egg whites offer that biochemical support by giving the kidneys what they need most: clean energy, balanced nutrition, and minimal waste. They don't just lower creatinine temporarily. They help the kidneys recover and function more efficiently. A diet based on these proteins, supported by hydration and antioxidant-rich foods, becomes a natural therapy for maintaining healthy kidney function and restoring balance to the body's filtration system. Controlling creatinine levels is not merely about avoiding the wrong foods. It is about understanding how the body interacts with protein quality, inflammation, and filtration efficiency. The kidneys, as central detoxification organs, respond to every nutrient and compound that passes through the bloodstream. When harmful proteins dominate the diet, waste products accumulate and filtration slows down. But when the body receives clean, nourishing proteins that are easy to metabolize, it can restore equilibrium. The kidneys regain rhythm, blood chemistry stabilizes, and energy begins to flow more efficiently through every cell. This is a process of balance, not deprivation, and the choices made in daily meals can quietly determine the health of the kidneys over years. The key lies in understanding the difference between quantity and quality. Many people believe that reducing overall protein intake is the only way to lower creatinine, but that approach can sometimes backfire. When protein is drastically cut, the body may start breaking down its own muscle tissue for amino acids. This self-catabolism increases creatinine levels further because creatinine is a byproduct of muscle metabolism. The smarter approach is to choose proteins that nourish without overloading, to replace rather than remove. The shift from processed and animal-heavy proteins to lighter, more balanced ones reduces metabolic waste without sacrificing strength. This balance allows the kidneys to rest and gradually restore their function while still maintaining muscle and metabolic stability. Creatinine control also involves paying attention to the metabolic waste cycle. When the body metabolizes protein, it generates urea, ammonia, and creatinine, all of which must be filtered by the kidneys. The amount of waste produced depends largely on the protein's source and purity. Processed proteins filled with additives create more byproducts, while natural, plant-based, or clean animal proteins create fewer. This biochemical difference determines how much effort the kidneys must exert to maintain normal blood composition. By consuming proteins that break down cleanly, the overall toxic load decreases. The kidneys can then focus on healing existing tissue damage instead of constantly clearing excess waste. Inflammation is another crucial aspect of creatinine control. The kidneys are extremely sensitive to inflammatory signals in the body. Every time blood sugar spikes or sodium intake increases, the kidneys' capillaries respond with constriction and swelling. This reduces blood flow and increases internal pressure, damaging the delicate filtration membranes. Over time, chronic inflammation leads to fibrosis, where healthy tissue is replaced by scar tissue that cannot filter effectively. Anti-inflammatory proteins, such as those from fish and plants, help reverse this process. Their natural compounds reduce cytokine activity, calm the immune response, and relax blood vessels, restoring healthy circulation to kidney tissues. This is why people who transition to diets rich in omega-3 and antioxidants often see not only lower creatinine levels, but also improvements in energy, skin health, and mental clarity. Another factor often overlooked is the relationship between acid and base balance in the body. High acid-producing diets, typically those rich in animal protein, force the kidneys to work harder to maintain pH stability. When acid levels rise, the kidneys must excrete more hydrogen ions and generate more bicarbonate, increasing their workload. Over time, this continuous acid stress wears down the nephrons. In contrast, plant proteins are alkaline forming, which means they help maintain a balanced internal environment without straining the kidneys. This shift reduces acid load, minimizes inflammation, and improves filtration capacity. Even small dietary adjustments, such as replacing red meat with lentils or tofu for several meals a week, can significantly reduce systemic acidity and promote kidney repair. Creatinine levels are also influenced by hydration and circulation. The kidneys rely on a steady flow of water to dissolve and transport waste out of the body. When dehydration occurs, blood becomes thicker, filtration slows, and waste accumulates. Drinking adequate water supports the kidney's natural cleansing mechanism, allowing creatinine to be excreted efficiently. Adding hydrating foods like cucumbers, watermelon, and leafy greens amplifies this effect. However, hydration must be balanced. Drinking too much water too quickly can dilute sodium levels and cause additional stress. The goal is consistency, steady hydration throughout the day so the kidneys operate in a stable environment. Another often forgotten aspect of creatinine management is the role of micronutrients. Certain minerals and vitamins play supportive roles in kidney function. Magnesium helps regulate electrolyte balance and blood pressure, reducing the strain on the filtration system. Potassium, when consumed through natural sources like vegetables and lentils, supports heart rhythm and fluid balance, both crucial for kidney performance. Vitamin C and E act as antioxidants, protecting renal tissue from oxidative damage caused by metabolic waste. B-complex vitamins, especially B6 and B12, aid in protein metabolism, ensuring that amino acids are processed efficiently without producing excessive byproducts. When the diet is deficient in these nutrients, the kidneys must work harder to compensate. Replenishing them through balanced meals or natural supplements can restore metabolic harmony. The gut also plays a surprising role in kidney health. An imbalanced gut microbiome can produce toxic byproducts such as indoxyl sulfate and p-cresol sulfate, which the kidneys must eliminate. These toxins contribute to inflammation and rising creatinine levels. A diet rich in fiber and probiotics supports a healthy gut environment, reducing the generation of such compounds. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and tempeh introduce beneficial bacteria that improve digestion and decrease the amount of waste reaching the bloodstream. This creates a secondary support system for the kidneys, as less toxic material means less filtration stress. Sleep and rest are equally important in maintaining healthy creatinine levels. The kidneys repair themselves during rest, just like other organs. Chronic sleep deprivation triggers stress hormones such as cortisol, which constrict blood vessels and raise blood pressure. This creates a state of constant strain that hinders kidney regeneration. A proper sleep cycle ensures that the body can detoxify efficiently and maintain stable hormone levels. Alongside sleep, managing emotional stress through meditation, deep breathing, or light physical activity helps lower cortisol and adrenaline, both of which have direct impacts on kidney blood flow. Physical activity, when balanced, also contributes positively. Gentle exercise improves circulation, helping blood flow more efficiently through the kidneys and other organs. It supports oxygen delivery to tissues and prevents the buildup of metabolic waste. However, overexertion or excessive muscle breakdown can temporarily raise creatinine levels because creatinine is produced during muscle metabolism. Thus, moderate, consistent movement, such as walking, swimming, or yoga, is ideal for maintaining healthy kidney function. It promotes detoxification through sweating and improves insulin sensitivity, reducing the risk of diabetes-related kidney damage. Dietary variety is another cornerstone of controlling creatinine naturally. The kidneys benefit from a rotation of nutrient-dense foods that deliver antioxidants, fiber, and clean protein. Meals built around lentils, quinoa, vegetables, fish, and eggs provide complete nourishment without harmful overload. Cooking methods matter just as much. Steaming, boiling, and baking preserve nutrients without forming harmful compounds like ages, which are common in fried or grilled foods. Using herbs and spices such as turmeric, cumin, and coriander instead of heavy sauces minimizes sodium while adding flavor and anti-inflammatory benefits. Creatinine management is as much about what is avoided as it is about what is added. Eliminating high sodium condiments, processed snacks, and refined sugars prevents unnecessary water retention and high blood pressure, two conditions that damage kidneys over time. Replacing sugary drinks with herbal teas, coconut water, or infused water supports hydration without adding chemicals. Small, consistent changes create a foundation for recovery that medication alone cannot achieve. The goal is to create an internal environment where the kidneys can perform their natural role without interference. When the body begins to align with these principles, the change is gradual but profound. Blood tests show improvement, energy levels rise, and swelling or fatigue begins to fade. Creatinine levels drop not because of restriction, but because the kidneys are finally working in harmony with the body's natural rhythm. The shift from harmful to healing proteins, from processed to pure foods, and from inflammation to restoration reflects a deeper biological truth. The kidneys are designed to thrive when given balance. Every choice, every meal, and every sip of water either burdens or liberates these vital organs, shaping the health of the entire body in silence.